Hi everyone, Omeza here. Welcome to the last part of this Excel tutorial. In this very tutorial, we're going to be taking care of these buttons right here to help us switch through our charts. And as well, we're going to be doing something very cool with this as well to actually help us switch from the whole sales of 2019 down to the top 3 months we have in that particular year, just like what we have right here as well. Okay, right now in the previous video we've taken care of the slicers where we can actually hide and show our slicers. So we can now place filter every single time we show our slicers. You see the whole filter we placed is actually showing some effect on our data. So right now, if you have not watched that particular part, please take care of that by watching the part 3 of this video. And as well, in part 2 we've actually taken care of the visual you're seeing right here, and in part 1 we took care of the background. So you might really want to actually avail yourself the opportunity to actually take a look at that. So right now let us go to the main works. Right now I'm gonna have to close this down. I don't need it. We'll close this. So we go to the main work right now. Okay, here we are. If you look at what we have right here, it's a little bit rough. So if I place filter right now, you see different things start to filter. Even the line chart right here start to filter. So this is as a result of me actually doing this before the tutorial, just to make sure I don't actually bug you with this over and over again. It's very simple. It's just for you to create a line chart from where we actually create this particular column chart from, and create top 3 from where we created this one from. It's very easy. So right now here we are, we created it from here, and already we've actually done this together in part 2 of this tutorial where we actually created the top 3, and now what we are doing is just to visualize it and actually have it right here. But what we want to do is for we to switch between this particular top 3 and the whole sales of 2019 or 2020. So for the first time now this is working. We've taken care of this yesterday. So what we're going to do right now is for we to actually get to create a button that is going to actually help us to switch between line chart and a column chart right here. So let us get on that. I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to hit right here, and here we go. I'm going to choose this button right here, and I'm going to draw it very big. So what I'm going to do is just for me to actually make sure I have it rounded. So now I can now make it smaller, and the kind of chart, the kind of button I really want is going to be this. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do is for me to actually give this button color, and I'm going to give it a white color. That is what I want for it. I'm going to give it white color. So the white color and the background, I'm going to give this to be some kind of dark. Give it the black border. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write here to be my line chart. So it's going to be my line chart. Oh, sorry for that. So now we can't really see it right now. I'm going to go up to this particular aspect to make sure I change the color to black. So make it bold, and I can decide to increase this and come right here and make sure it's centralized. So right now here we go, we have a line chart right here. I'm going to duplicate this to have this one is the visible one. So what I'm going to create right now is to create this one to be on a white text. The text is going to be on the black. Okay, yeah. Now so what we're going to do right now, here is it. So we're going to actually set this the text right here, we're going to set it to white right now. I'm going to go right here and actually set the text to white. So here the text is in white. So what I'm going to do now is for me to actually make sure I actually say this has no field. So this is what it is. We have the active and we have the inactive. So we're going to be taking care of that in a jiffy. So I'm going to have to double just copy this one right here. I'm going to put my column chart. So it's column chart. So N. So now I'm gonna have to make sure it's a little bit longer than this previous one right here. So what I'm gonna do is to duplicate the same thing again and actually make sure I do the same thing to this. So I'm gonna say this has to be this, and I'm gonna change the color to white. So what do we have? We have something nicely like this. So now I'm gonna actually have to make sure they are staying very close to each other. So right now we can start to actually write our code, but not really now. So what we need to do right now is for we to actually name each of the buttons right here. So how do we do that? So just come up right here and make a search of what? Just make a search of the select panel. Now we just make a search of display select panel right here, and you click on it. This is what you can have. So right now we need to give name to this as an identifier for to identify which one is a line chart and which one is active and all of that. So I'm going to actually double click on this. What I'm going to do is just to call this one, I'm going to call it TB. Sorry for that, I lied it again. I'm going to call it TB underscore line chart. So underscore line chart. So I'm gonna have to correct something right here in it. So TB underscore line chart, that is I'm gonna make sure this one is underscore line chart underscore active. So TB underscore line chart underscore active, which means this one is the active one. So we're gonna actually put this one on non-active, which is gonna be this. I'm gonna actually click and make sure I copy. I told you about recycling, so you don't need to actually create the wheel, recreate the wheel again. I'm gonna have this right here, so I'm gonna just put in, which means this one is inactive one. So if I double click on this one right here, I'm gonna actually have this right here, and this is not gonna be a line chart any longer. It's gonna be a column chart. So it's gonna be a column chart. So the active one for column chart, and the next one is gonna be the inactive one. It's gonna be inactive. So now we've gotten it right. So we've actually done something good right now. So the next thing we are going to do right now is to start to write our first VBA code to actually have this chart change automatically, and every single time we click on a particular chart, this other one is going to go out of focus, like it's going to give us this particular color right here. So how are we going to do that? So let us take care of that in VBA. So I'm going to click right here at the top right here, and I actually told you if you don't have your VBA existing, I have shown you how to actually find it and actually bring it right here. So I'm going to actually click on this developer. This is where it is, and I'm going to click on this particular Visual Basic. So right now this is the previous code we've written just to make sure we pop up dash letters. So right now we're going to actually start to write something else. So I want to actually leave a comment right here to show what it is that I'm actually doing. I'm going to say to change charts. So this is exactly what it is. So now it's a comment. I've grayed it out. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to start to write our first code to actually help us to do what we really want it to do. So right now we need to always name it, and I told this to actually mark territory of where your code starts and where your code ends, so that any code that comes right here will not affect the other one. Then we'll know how to assign and which to assign. So I'm going to say sub. So right now what we're going to be showing first right now, I'm going to actually go this way a little bit. So right now we can now see this particular selection panel right here. So what we're going to do is just sub. So the first one is just to be line underscore chart. So if I hit enter, this is what we have. So right now we're going to start with active sheet. So I'm going to say active sheet. So it's gonna be, sorry, and wait, don't worry, I'm gonna actually recap this and actually make sure you understand what is going on right here. It's as simple as the previous one we've done. If you've not watched the part 3, please go take care of that. So right now with active sheet, inside it we're gonna actually put a function right now. So now what we're going to be doing with active sheet, like the sheet we are actually onto right now, this particular sheet we have right here is the active sheet that we're going to actually be doing something right on there. So now we're going to say dot shape. So dot shapes, and the name of the shape we're going to actually be using is actually this particular column chart, but we are using line chart. I'm going to actually change this to a line just to make sure it's actually snappy. So I'm going to change this to a line chart. So line chart, we're going to close this and say dot visible dot visible, so equal to false. So right now what it's doing is this: if, like, let's just say, like, okay, if this particular sheet is not active, like it's not active, the line chart is not what is showing, but the column chart is showing. I want to show the line chart. What we need to do next is actually recycle through this, but I'm not going to recycle through this right now. Before we recycle, I'm going to say dot sheet again for you to actually understand. So we have our team missed right here, dot sheet, oh sorry, dot shape. Okay, I'm gonna say shape right here. So now it's correct. I'm gonna say dot shape, dot shapes. So now it's gonna be open bracket again. So you're gonna put this right here, and we need to actually go with this same thing and change this particular one to the same line chart. So line chart, so we've changed this one to the same line chart again. So this time around what we're gonna have right here is going to be dot visible, and we set the visibility to what? We set the visibility to true. So right now, if this is not true, it's false right now. When we click on this particular button right here, because this is going to be assigned to a button, so when we click on this particular button right here, what we want you to do is for you to actually activate it. And the next one is going to be for we to actually copy this away from here and actually, you know, drop it down and change this. So right now we're going to actually have to change the chart from line chart to a column chart. Right now we're going to change this to a column chart, which is the second level. So we change this to a column chart. So column chart. So now here is going to be true, and here is going to be false. So here is going to be false. So right now we've actually defined our we're almost there, but not really. So we've actually defined this. So this is for the button. So I'm going to actually go activation of button, of buttons. So that is the activation of buttons. So right now we actually need to show content. So we need to show the chart. Show the chart. So now to show the chart is actually very easy. So what we need to do is just for we to go back and name our chart. So how we're going to do that? I'm going to actually minimize this right now, and our chart had not been named, so we're going to actually have to name our chart. So the first chart we have right here, this particular one right here, which is the column chart. So when we actually click on the column chart, we need to actually make sure we find where our column chart is right here. Now here we go. We actually need to name this one to be a column chart. So we're going to name this to be our column underscore chart. So our column chart. So I'm going to copy this away from here, so I'm going to be needing it. I don't want to forget about it. So now the next one is going to be this. I'm going to click on the line chart right here, and here we go. If we look at it, we have it right here. So all we need to do is just to change this one to a line chart, and we're going to call this a line chart. So now we can go back to VBA and actually reference this to what we have right here. So what we need to do is just to use the same functionality again. I'm going to say dot shape, I think, yeah, dot shapes. So open this and have this right here, the column chart. So if the column chart is actually not visible, or if it is visible, we're going to say dot visible right here. So dot visible is equal to true, which means this is true. It's actually the one showing up right now. So the next thing is we to recycle this and actually make it very snappy. I'm going to copy this and have it right here, and I'm going to say now this is my line chart. So the line chart is going to be false. So if you're new to VBA, don't worry, you're gonna understand what is going on right here in a jiffy. Once we actually apply this and it works, I'm gonna come back and explain to you what it is that it is doing and how you can actually apply this to your own particular project and become some kind of very familiar with it. So right now we can actually click on OK. Right now we need to debug and see what is going on right here. So the first line of code is actually giving us some kind of false, right? Okay, I think where the problem is right now, if you look at it, if I actually run it to see if this is working, it tells me that object doesn't support this property or method. So now we can debug. Now you need to actually make sure that syntax is correct. So the syntax that is actually making this to be flopped is actually this. We're gonna remove it, and here we go. We need to go and run it again and go check it out and see. One button is actually away, it has disappeared. So now it shows that it is working. So now I told you about recycling, so we can recycle through this. So all I'm gonna do is just going to copy from here and actually me copy to the last one right here right now, and I'm gonna copy it. So we go and we have this dropped right here. So I'm gonna leave a comment before I drop it. I'm gonna leave a comment for you to know what our code is doing. So this is to for, I'm gonna say for second chart. So we just draw this. I'm gonna hit this and hit enter. So right now what I'm gonna do now is to change this from line chart to a column chart. Right now I'm gonna say to a column chart or column chart. So now what we need to do is just for we to actually tweak what we have right here. Where we have our false, we're gonna have true. So here now we're gonna have false. So we're gonna have false. So we're gonna have false as well, and right here we're gonna have true. So we need to have true there, and now here it's gonna be false. So false, and we have true right here. So all we just do is to switch it around. So we switch it around, and here we go. So if I actually run this again and we go back, this is back and the other one has disappeared. So let us go and test it out and see how this is working, and we come back and explain the code again. So I'm gonna go click right here and actually make sure I still have this open because I want to make use of it. So I'm gonna actually make sure I bring this back again. So right now what I want to do, we need to assign this to a line chart. I want to assign the line chart to this particular thing. Before we assign the line chart, I'm gonna actually correct something right here. So I'm gonna remove one particular T away. Okay, fine. So I can now right click and go to assign macro. So now line chart for line chart. So assign this as well and hit on assign macro, and line chart for line chart. So column chart for column chart, always do that. So we gotta go to assign macro. Now we go for column chart, assign macro right there as well, and we go right here and assign, and we gotta click on column chart. So right now let us test it out if this is really working for us. So if I click on this, it shows this, and if I click on this, it's showing this. So click on this, is showing that. So now you might look like, what the heck is going on? Every single time we click on any of this right here, you can see something is going to close up right here. So if I click on this, you can see what is closing and what is opening. This is the close aspect, this is the open aspect. If you are new to VBA, this is how it is. So right now we need to actually close this for now and actually make sure, okay, before we close, I'm going to go back and actually bring it back, and I'm gonna actually make sure everything is visible right now. So now that we have everything visible, we need to actually make sure we set it right. So I'm gonna actually click on this and have it set to this particular end. So exactly, I've put them together. So right now I'm gonna actually have to put this together as well. I'm gonna put this together right here. Okay, I'm gonna make sure okay, fine. All you need to do is just to make sure you right click on this and make sure this one is actually in front of, just like this, and actually you have to place and make it this way. So now you have it the way you really wanted to have it. So now you click on the same thing and do in front of, just like this. So what you can actually do again is just to click on this as well, and what you need to do is just to go to the top right here. You might not see it, I'm gonna actually bring it down. So I'm gonna go to the top right here and make sure I actually glue them together. So I'm gonna say center. So right now I'm gonna say top. So now I have it this way. I can actually group this to actually make sure I move it all at once. It's grouped. So if I actually have it right here right now, it's gonna sit well. So my formatting might be a little bit some kind of weird. Do not worry. When it is time for you to actually create yours, give it a very better formatting. So right now this is working so much well right now. If I click on this, it actually gives this to like be in some kind of inactive, and if I click on this, it gives me to be inactive, and this one gets to be active. Now this is what it is. So we've just created our first part of this particular switch between one on the other chart. So right now, before we actually go on, I'm going to recap what we've done right here, and after I've actually recapped this, we're going to go on the second level of this, which is this particular one we have right here. Needs to be done the same way again, but it's a little bit different. Don't worry, I'm going to actually let you know what it is. So right now I'm going to click right here, and here we go. So right now, if I actually go this side, is this. If you look at it, we have this inactive. The line chart is inactive, and if we come to our line chart right here, right now, what we have on the line chart is this, is when it is first is not going to be visible, so until it is true. Now that it's inactive, what is active is actually the column chart. If I actually go down, so the line chart is active. Yeah, if you look at the line chart is active, what is going to be, let me just show you what it is. Now if I go back right here now and click on line chart, this is what we have. For column chart, we have actually messed up with it, so we need to actually get something done right here. So we need to make a change of this for line chart. The labeling has actually is wrong, so what I'm gonna do is just to actually ungroup this right now. I'm gonna right click on it and actually ungroup. So when I ungroup, I actually give it the right the proper labeling, so that is going to be right. So it's okay right now, it's working well. This should be for a line chart but not for a column chart. So a column chart is working for a line chart right now, so let me just correct that in. Okay, now here we go. We've actually made the correction right here. So if you look at it, when choosing column chart right now, it's actually giving us that column chart has been actually highlighted. Now this is what it is. When we actually click on our line chart, is what it is. So now it keeps the column chart off, and the inactive as well is actually of right now. That is exactly what the VBA code is actually doing right here. So right now, if we go to the top right here, so we are seeing the line chart to be active right now. The line chart is active, which is mean the line chart is true, and the activeness is going to what? The activeness is what is going to actually come up. So this is exactly what it is. So you might not really get it right, but download the workbook and the dashboard and actually take a look at the code and see how it works over and over again. You're gonna get to understand what this is actually doing, and every single time this one gets switched, you understand what it is. So the next thing we're gonna go through right now is the second phase of this particular chart. So right now is just for me to actually get this created as well. So what we need to do is just for we to create a button that is gonna actually help us do something very cool. We can just create any button just so that is done. I'm gonna create something like this. I'll make sure I make it smaller and smaller like this. So duplicate this right here, and I'm gonna bring this, should make it smaller and make it very much smaller, and actually have it right here. So right now I can actually group this together. Okay, before I group this, I can give this a color of white right here. Go and give it the color of white. So this is how we create the button. I'm gonna give this a color of white. I'm gonna remove the outline right here, and I'm gonna give this color to be some kind of, I think this color will be cool. I love this color. So right now I can now group this together and duplicate this. So before I duplicate this, I might really need to actually do something very cool with this. So I can go right here and choose shadow, and the shadow I'm going to choose right now is going to be this type of shadow that is going in. So now here we go. I have this shadow that makes it look like a button, and I'm going to group this together right now and actually have it duplicated into 4. So now that I've gotten duplicated into 4 right now, I'm going to actually have the first one to be here. But if you look at it, it's too very big, so I can actually make sure I have it minimized just the way I really wanted it. Okay, so I think I'm cool with this. Alright, for the second chart, which is this and this. So what we need to do is just to have this grouped, which I have actually done. So if you look at it right here, I've actually given it a name called chart 1 2020, and if you come down to this as well, you're gonna see that we give this one chart 2 2020 top 3. Exactly, we've done the same thing right here just to actually identify our charts. So we can just go right here and do a very simple thing. So all we need to do is to recycle through this particular codes we have right here. I'm going to copy to the top right here. I'm going to copy it down. So I'm going to say top 3 charts. Top 3 chart 1. So now top 3 chart 1. So we don't need any of this right here, but we need the active sheet. So now what we need to do is just to name this one 2020 chart, 2020 underscore chart. So I named this 2020 underscore chart for you to identify what it is if you want to apply our button. So now the first thing is going to be okay, I'm going to go like okay, 2020. I'm gonna actually have TB right here. So TB 2020 chart. So now I'm gonna go right here and actually first of all I'm gonna actually identify my fourth chart is gonna be the the charts. So it's gonna be the chart 1 2020. So the chart 1 2020 is gonna be the first one I'm gonna actually have to reference right here. So the chart 1 2020 is just gonna be this, which is if I click right here right now, right on this right here, so what we see is chart 1 2020, and if we click on this one, what we're gonna see is chart 2 2020 top 3. So now I'm gonna actually go back, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna say chart 2 2020 top 3. So exactly this is what we need to have. So now we are having false and true right here, so you will get to understand what is going on. So the next one is going to create our second chart right here. So we've switched through this right now, that if this is visible, this is what should be the condition. So now I'm going to copy this from here and I'm going to have to paste it down here. So the next one now is to do the same thing again. So now we need to actually say, okay, now we've got this one right here, so we need to actually make sure we give an identifier. I'm going to say 1, I'm going to say 2. So right now that is go. So I'm going to say this one now is going to be true, while we turn this one into false. So we're going to turn it into false right now. So what it is this: if this is actually if this particular one is being clicked, and what it is that it's on false previously before it's being clicked, it's going to turn it into true and actually deactivate whatever we have right here. So let us test it out. I'm going to actually click right now. I'm going to debug this to see what it is that is actually working right here. Okay, I think it's based on my chart. Okay, what's wrong with it now is that it's chart 2 2020, so it's not 2020 right now. I'm gonna actually have 2 right here, and I'm gonna go and actually test it out if it's working. So if I go back, I can see one of the charts has disappeared. So right now we can now feel like, okay, let us test it out and see if this is working. I'm going to actually apply this one to this I'm gonna say for 1, and I'm gonna go right here and apply this one for the second one to right here. So let's see if this is working. So we can now switch this and see if what the problem is. Chart 2 that is chart 1 2020, and this is gonna be, so the problem we solved is still the same thing. So we've not actually included our 2 right here, so I'm gonna actually have to click on this and go back and see now it's showing. So if I click on this, it shows this. If I click on this, it shows this as well. So what we need to do right now is just to make sure we have both of them show, and I'm gonna click on this one and actually make sure I have it on top of this and make sure it aligns perfectly. So now, which is very cool. So if I now click on this, it's actually showing me this alone. If I click on this, it's showing me this. This is exactly what we've done to actually have that done. So I'm gonna be doing this one behind the scene and let you see, okay, what it is. So alright, now everything is actually working well right now. If I actually click right here, this is what I have, and if I click right here, this is what I'm going to have as well. So now we can now switch from one chart to another, just like what we have right there. So you can actually give your formatting to be properly, you know, based on what you really want. So right now what we have right here is just to actually, you know, duplicate the previous one and actually turn the name from 2020 down to 2019 and actually have this actual as well changed. Okay, don't worry if you don't seem to understand what is going on right now. It's something very basic that if you actually download this particular dashboard, you will definitely know how it works and how you can actually work with it. So now you see what we have right here is actually for we to actually click and actually get a slicer to help us slice this particular, you know, whole dashboard right here, and actually you can see everything is actually changing automatically. We can change from line chart to from a column chart to a line chart right here, and we can actually switch from this to that. And it might look a little bit complicated if you've not written VBA before. It's not actually something that everyone is born with. You just have to take a try and see how you can actually do this to actually work for you perfectly the way it should be, and actually implement it in your own project. It's a very simple and mingy code that we've written to actually get it done. So do the same thing again and let it work for you the way it should be. And once you actually apply it once or twice, you're gonna actually be very much familiar with it. So we're going to be doing much with VBA on our dashboard. So all you need to do is just to actually subscribe to my YouTube channel and see how we can actually work along with VBA and how VBA can actually make our dashboard to be very much simple to use. Now we don't need to have a slicer anywhere again. We can decide to actually hide our slicer and have something different right here. So in the previous video, what we have right here is some information about the dashboard, so you can actually put that in something basic. So I don't really need to put that for you. So, okay, very much thank you very much, guys. I think we've actually come to the conclusion of this particular video. Okay, I'm gonna be seeing you in the next video. I mean, in a new tutorial we have to start in your project right now. So thank you very much. Just take a look at my other dashboard, and I've really have the opportunity of creating one of the best clean dashboard out there right away. Thanks for watching. So click on the next video.